How we doing, guys? And welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. With the never-ending debate of who the GOAT is, and because it's All-Star Weekend and we have a little time to kind of chime in on the history of the game as well as some of this history that's been broken lately, we are going to hit on NBA GOAT. Why? And we're going to be objective. We have a lot of information that we want to hit on. Looking forward to this. Big shout out to Sergio Rodriguez of the Sergio Rodriguez Show. He, I must say, he got a lot of feathers ruffled with just dismissing the thought that LeBron could be the GOAT. Just no, absolutely not. I agreed with some of what he said. Maybe on some levels I didn't. But the thing is, this is a great debate. So shout out to him for opening this up and opening my third eye on this. I am ready to speak on this matter. With me tonight, we got my man Brett Bandick down below, third window. We got my guy Idris Salam alongside me. Michael Zappi, he might be here later. He might not. He might freeze on camera. He might not. We'll see how that plays out.
Good chance he'll freeze on camera, y'all.
There's a great chance that he'll freeze on camera. I'm going to start this with the guys that have been the true debate lately. And I'm going to let the panel really jump on this. All right. LeBron James recently took down Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's almost 40-year record for total points scored. Phenomenal accomplishment. Absolutely will not take anything away from the longevity. You got to stick around a long time to pull that off. And you also have to be a pretty good scorer to pull that off. Let's not lose sight of that. But it's opened up a door where a lot of people are feeling comfortable, maybe newer gen fans, maybe even older gen fans that maybe they just didn't like Michael Jordan, but calling LeBron the GOAT. I take issue with this. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who in my opinion is the only player past or present that should be in the conversation as a guy who could get the edge on Michael Jordan. And we're going to dive into some of these stats of all these great players. When he wasn't considered the GOAT by the masses, I have a few reasons behind why too, and I'm going to hit on that as well. And it was Michael Jordan. Why, when Brett said this off camera, I'm going to give Brett his shine here. Why would he not be considered the GOAT if he jumped Jordan in points? He jumped Jabbar, but Jabbar wasn't considered the GOAT. So we'll make that make sense for a second. Bretsky, I want to start with you here. Open conversation. As you can see, we're not running with any of our banners today. This is an open conversation. Who is your NBA GOAT? Who would you consider your NBA top five? However you want to go at it. Don't consider the question, just rip.
Well, man, this is I've been waiting for this discussion for a long time.
It's been brewing on my page, and
I'm happy to have you guys aboard with this. And the thing is that nobody is calling LeBron the GOAT. LeBron called himself the GOAT. Jordan would never do that. Jordan has mentioned numerous times and numerous interviews that if he called himself the GOAT, it would disrespect Wilt. It would disrespect Magic. It would disrespect Bird.
He leaves that up to the masses.
100%. So my personal opinion of this matter, and man, I'm so pumped with this. It's not even debatable for me. I mean, granted, it takes a lot, to do what LeBron has accomplished over a 20-year span in the NBA, and nothing but respect for the man. Okay, he's accomplished a lot. Jordan has accomplished more in a short period of time against a different generation of defenders and a different generation of just the NBA as a whole. And that's where the whole debate completely ends for me, because Jordan, his number one, I mean, we can go back 6 championships, 6 MVPs. You know, I can't even, in a 32-month time span, 32 months, missed 0 games. 32 months. He had 3-time finals MVP, 3-time championship, 3-time all-time defensive MVP, leading the league in assists.
You're going to do that, Bretsky. You're going to do that 3 times too. 2 three-peats, 6 NBA Finals MVPs.
It's ridiculous.
9-time All NBA defensive team. More scoring titles than anyone in the modern era.
100%.
Absurd. Truly absurd.
And the reason
offensive, scoring title.
The reason I can't really give LeBron credit in today's game is the fact that nobody plays defense anymore. The fact that every team averages anywhere between 110 to 120 points a game. Back then, 80s, 90s, unless you had an overtime game, games were not going over 100 points. You know what I mean? So the defense was there. The defense was more of a struggle. It was a more physical league. 100%. 100%. And I get it. It's a different area. The game has changed. The game has evolved, on the offensive side of the ball, just like the NFL has evolved in turning into a quarterback league. You know what I mean? So I get it. But you got to play defense. And in today's NBA, is there really a top 5 defense like there was the bad boys Pistons, the Celtics, the Knicks,
the Hawks,
the Pacers, the Heat.
Man. Yeah, different.
You know what I mean? Like
different era. And one thing,
different eras, man. And you can't. Nobody plays defense anymore. So of course, anybody that plays 18 to 20 minutes a game is going to put up 20 points a game, just because of the freaking defense, the way shit is played now.
Before I pass this to Idris, one thing I want to piggyback off you with the, as you worded it, evolution of the game. I liken it to football in the sense that what evolves it is all the more rules. It's tougher to play defense in the NFL because of all the rule changes. Just as much as it's tougher to play defense in the NBA, because in addition to there's no more hand checking that was outlawed a long time ago. A lot of different rules, but you also are talking about a league that basically ignores traveling from their grandest superstars. They ignore illegal screens. Rick Barry hit on it best. Mm-hmm. Idris, I'm going to let you get fired up on this, and then we're going to go into a little bit more of some GOAT debate and talk a little bit about the history and the resumes of the two guys, and we're going to expand it with some more players too.
Yeah, getting on the defense, and people say, "Oh, the guys back there weren't that talented." I got to disagree. Magic Johnson was very talented. Green, Jordan himself. You can add Allen Iverson. He was in Jordan's era.
Nasty.
That played in Jordan's era.
You don't get nicknamed the answer if you're not the answer.
You had a lot of people, because a lot of these players today are trying to break the records of those older guys. And it's taking these rules like, okay, we talk defense. There's no hand checking. So now you can't touch the defender. That gives them free reign. You have the zone defense. That's a college defense.
Yes.
That means you can just sit back. You don't have to go out to it back then. You had to play man to man.
Yes.
You had the free pass through where you can't touch him, or some 2 shots in the ball. So these are things that handicap the defense. You can't touch players. There's no physicality. And people say, "Oh, it's y'all talking old." No, this is how the game came about in the streets, in the parks. This is how the game was created. Now it's removed to where you can't do anything. To bring up a few things to piggyback on what Brett said. Okay, the playoffs. They say, well, Jordan got swept his first 2 seasons in the playoffs. Okay, LeBron didn't make it. Okay, NBA Finals. Jordan 6-0, No 7 games.
Not
LeBron-
one.
Not
Not one
one.
of the finals.
Not one. And most of them games, Jordan closed the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
LeBron's been swept twice, never won more than 2 games within those 6 losses. Okay. Jordan didn't play 82 games less than how many times? How many times did he not play 82
The
games?
ratio is 8-1. Jordan played 82 games 8 times to LeBron's 1 time. And mind you, in a less physical league.
Jordan played 82 games at age 40.
Indeed.
Mhm.
Indeed.
Yep. Jordan has the
And
accolade.
LeBron actually rested the past 3 days after he broke Kareem's record
Right.
at age 40 before the All-Star break,
Right.
going
Well,
into a playoff push that the Lakers have to make.
In that regard, it doesn't. This is the thing. You can make an argument
Mhm.
LeBron's a better passer than Mike and Kobe. I don't have a problem acknowledging that. You can make a case that LeBron might be the superior athlete to the two. Potentially on certain levels, yes, I will agree with that to a level too.
Mhm.
But one thing that I am not comfortable is that I've always felt this with LeBron on the grand stage. He's not the same kind of dog as a Kareem or as a Magic or as a Bird or as a Jordan or
Those
as a
are
Bill.
killers.
Yeah, those are undeniably killers, because when I consider that Michael Jordan was the standard for the NBA, I always say this. When people say, oh, Jordan saved the sport, that's where I'll be like, fall back on that. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson saved the sport in the 80s. This was a league that was marred with a lot of drug issues in the 70s. Magic, Bird captivated the country. You got a black man from East Lansing, Michigan. You have a white man from French Lick, Indiana, that over the course of a fierce rivalry became the best of friends and really put the NBA on the map. And Jordan, quite frankly, those were his two of his peers, but they were also 2 of his role models on the come up.
Jordan said it in The Last Dance. When he first joined the league, his teammates were coked out.
Yeah,
Remember that episode?
Yeah. It was a time of the league. The NBA had a lot of money issues at one time, and people were afraid that they were going to fall into some trouble similar to the ABA. But before Mike, there was Dr. J. Dr. J, I think, in a lot of people's estimations, could be considered the first superstar, so to speak, that really transcended the game. Some people might feel comfortable taking it back to the logo, Jerry West.
I think with Dr. J took the game above the rim.
Indeed. And that was what made him such a polarizing figure. Yeah. He played on some great teams, and he has a great story as well, given his ABA history as a member of the New York Knicks back when they used to play at Nassau Coliseum. But when I look at I would say Magic and Bird saved the NBA. Jordan took it global.
Right.
He evolved.
Absolutely.
He evolved the sport for sure.
LeBron did Space Jam 2. Mike did Space Jam 1. There's a way to pay homage with that. One thing I try to do here is I don't want to make this out to be like a LeBron hate session.
Right.
I've seen enough. I've seen Kareem. I've seen Bird. I've seen Magic. I've seen Mike. I've seen plenty of great players come and go. Currently, you have Steph Curry, who in many aspects is considered the face of the league. You have a phenomenal scorer in a Kevin Durant. But when I look at the total body of work, the total resume, LeBron has never three-peated. Jordan did that shit twice.
Right.
Some people would argue that Jordan may have done something that Bill Russell's Celtics did, were it not for a retirement in 94 and coming back. I will give him credit for the loss. I don't do that. If you played, you take that loss.
The hell, yeah.
But at minimum, we could say Jordan may have won 7 in a row, because in 1994, his Chicago Bulls without him took my New York Knicks to 7 games, and that's without Michael Jordan.
Right.
Volumes to the player that Scottie Pippen was as well.
The Scottie Pippen dunk.
Yeah, over Ewing, the Tony Kukoc fall away over Anthony Mason.
That was nuts to the face dunk.
I hate that.
It's all right. We won the series.
That was
I hate
nasty.
that.
It was
Oh, I
nasty.
hate that though.
Yeah, but Jordan did return in '95. He lost to an upstart Orlando Magic team.
Magic.
He didn't even play half the season. He played about
With Horace
20
Grant
some
on that
odd
team.
games. Yeah, Horace Grant, which actually was the motivation to go get Dennis Rodman.
Yep.
Because they were missing Horace Grant big time in that series, and he was a huge X factor. But getting back to the actual comparison, I will say this. With LeBron James, I feel that in order to be in any GOAT conversation, you have to be unequivocally the greatest of your generation. And while LeBron has done a great job of compiling stats and numbers, I always say this with LeBron, he's a tweener. He's in between Kobe and Duncan, and he's in between Steph and Durant and Giannis and these guys now. He's literally dead in the middle between two eras touching each other.
Mm-hmm.
He did not get the best of Greg Popovich's Spurs led by Tim Duncan. He did not get the best of Steve Kerr's Golden State Warriors led by Steph Curry that had a helping hand from Kevin Durant for some of that. Kevin Durant has not won a championship without Steph Curry or before him. So if we're going to talk about the whole team hopping thing, I will say that LeBron has more credibility than Durant. I will say that. LeBron's won outside of Miami. A lot of people like to make fun of what they call the Mickey Mouse title, but I will say this. It's a disadvantage for all involved. So I don't necessarily think that that's something easy to do winning an empty gym. I don't consider that easy at all. I will say that. But because every team, like I said, every team had the same disadvantage playing in an empty gym, having a season get delayed because of COVID. LeBron changed the game for the betterment of future players in terms of being their own businessmen. That is something that I will give him credit for. But at the same time, I think that he ruined a huge part of the game when it came to really redefining what winning is supposed to look like, or if it's even called winning anymore, because I think the players of the 80s and 90s particularly took great pride in staying with one organization throughout the course of their careers. And if you saw a guy like a Patrick Ewing put on another uniform, it was way past his prime and his line, or like a Mike coming back after a second, putting on a Wizards uniform. Chuck was a little bit of a mercenary. I'll say that. I think Chuck was a little bit of a mercenary. But you didn't see it as often.
His time was coming near, and Chuck won. Just like when Malone and Peyton.
They tried to jump on the Lakers and get a quick one.
But they know their careers were. It was it.
Well, I mean, I think Chuck was in his prime with the Suns. To be honest with you,
Yeah, with the Suns, yeah, but when he went to Portland, I'm not Portland.
You're thinking of Houston when they had the weird uniforms with the Rocket Man coming out.
Ugly. Yeah, I think he wanted to win one.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, he got traded too, because
he got traded
involved,
to Philly. They wanted him out of Philly because he was a hothead.
Yeah,
So
Chuck.
Phoenix, that's why I said when he went to Phoenix, I wouldn't say that he hopped. They wanted him out of Philly, so they sent him to Phoenix. So I think the only team he hopped to was probably that Houston team. Yeah,
they tried an experiment putting together.
Yeah,
and this is a post-Jordan NBA now when they tried this.
Yeah.
This is actually, let me correct myself there. No, this is not post-Jordan, but this is towards the end of the second three-peat.
Yeah.
No, it is post-Jordan. Excuse me, because Scottie Pippen was on that team. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah,
it was Scottie Pippen, Hakeem Olajuwon. So this had to be probably 99 if I had to guess.
this was late 90s, yeah.
But you know what?
99 if I had to guess.
And I'm not. I mean, let me get it out. LeBron is a great player. Okay, definitely all-time great. But I think that what kills me about, and it's not him that people hate him. It's his fans, because they say, well, Jordan didn't win until Pippen got there, but they make it sound like Pippen got there and he won right away. It took them another 4 more years for them to win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like Pippen got there and they said, okay, Pippen won him a championship. No, Pippen had to gel into being the player he was. It took 4 years. Now, on the flip with LeBron, they say, okay, well, look what happened to Cleveland when he left. When he left the first time. When he left the first time, he left and so did 4 starters.
Yes.
They don't speak about that. When he went to Miami, when he left Miami, they still went to the playoffs the next season. With an injured Wade and Bosh, they still made the playoffs. So it wasn't like they were trash. They didn't have Ray Allen anymore. They didn't have LeBron anymore. They didn't have Mike Miller anymore. They didn't have Tattoo, your boy.
Birdman.
They didn't have Birdman anymore. They lost a lot of people. When he went to Cleveland, he had Kyrie there, but he also recruited J.R. Smith, Kevin Love, who was a 2020 player.
Yeah.
And who's going to retire as a Cleveland Cavalier.
When they got hurt, you see what happened. He couldn't lead that team.
He's not retiring though yet.
And hey, Monshep also.
No, but Cleveland wants to retire his number.
Yeah, they should.
They will.
Now, when
Kyrie
left, they got throttled against Golden State. He went to LA. They were whack. He got rid of all the young talent and brought in Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo, AD. He brought in all these guys who won or whatever, all these all-stars, and then he won. So that's my thing with LeBron. I have yet to see him lead a team to where Jordan made those, like when he left Chicago, the first team.
He took all the bruises before he got to the mountain. He got his ass handed to him by a Pistons team 3 out of 4 years.
Right. They were tough.
And the Celtics, were it not for the Lakers, are the team of the 80s. But they handed the Bulls a lot of beatings as well.
Team. They had the Chief, they had McHale, they had Dennis Johnson, they had Larry Bird. That team was stacked.
Yeah, you're talking about a team that had they had a lot of Hall of Famers on that team.
Yeah. Exactly. So I say when I compare what Mike had and compared to what LeBron had teams. I say if you switch players, you put Jordan on those teams and put LeBron on Jordan's teams, Jordan's teams are running.
Jordan's winning.
They're running the table.
Yeah.
You might laugh at me for saying this, but they have one commonality.
Yeah.
Well, they have a couple, but one that stands out to me in a big way is that I wholeheartedly don't believe that either one of them ever beat the best team they ever played. In Jordan's case, that would definitely be Larry Bird's Celtics.
They were that 72-10, that 72-win team.
Yeah, well, in LeBron's case, it's funny, right? So, yes, the Warriors shattered a regular season record held by Jordan's Bulls.
Right.
But I don't consider that Warriors team the best of the bunch. That would be when KD jumped on in there. So I feel that the point of the matter here is Jordan ran into an Eastern Conference that was stacked, and out west it was whoever wins the East is probably going to play the Lakers.
Right.
And if you look at the history of the Eastern Conference in the 1980s, there were only 3 teams that made the finals. It was either the Boston Celtics,
the Lakers,
the East.
Oh,
it was either the Boston Celtics, the Philadelphia 76ers, or the Detroit Pistons.
Or the Pistons.
And the Bulls ascended in 91. Now, I try to be fair. One thing that Jordan said on a recent, showing off the rings thing that I didn't care for is that when he's like, 1991, sorry, Showtime. I'm like, Mike, that wasn't Showtime. Jabbar was retired. Byron Scott was hurt.
Well, he was calling it Showtime because since then, that's the name LA had gotten with Showtime.
Oh, no, I know. It's just, if I don't see Pat Riley in the hair on the sidelines, because he was already on his way to New York.
And I was going to say before he was a Knick, yeah.
Yeah, if I don't see, you can't quote, like, I understand that they try to
reincarnate. What you're saying, though.
Yeah, my thing is, Mike, I love you as a player, but you were not going to beat the 80s Showtime Lakers. I don't care if you had Pippen. I don't care if you – no. That wasn't going to happen. They beat a diluted version of Showtime.
That Showtime was deep and they were long.
Yeah. No, Showtime was, in my opinion, I get it. The Bulls have one more championship, but they have one more championship in a league that no longer had Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Isaiah Thomas.
Right.
Within 3-year period of the Bulls winning that first title, Magic retired basically after the series. Bird was gone 1 year later. Isaiah was gone 2 years later. So I do believe that it opened the door for a team like a New York Knicks to be Chicago's main rival. Mm-hmm. It opened the door for an Indiana Pacers team that was under the radar, Reggie Miller. And no knock on those great Knicks. I'm a Knicks fan through and through. No knock on the Knicks and no knock on the Pacers. But those are not the 76ers, the Pistons, and the Celtics. But like anything else, it's always about when it's your time.
Cleveland was good those times too.
Indeed. Brad Daugherty,
Mark Price,
Greg Elo, Ron Harper.
Elo.
Yeah.
Ron Harper. I mean,
boy, Elo.
No, these were good teams. These were undeniably good teams. But I don't know, man. I try so hard to be all the way objective about this. And I think in the end, when I say to myself, if Kobe is the closest player from a skill set to the great Michael Jordan, then how in the name of H can I put him ahead or behind LeBron James? I don't think I could do it. I noticed that an argument that you'll get from some LeBron fans is that, oh, Kobe had Shaq and he wasn't the best player on the team for 3 years during the three-peat. I could agree to that. I could agree to that. But the thing is, how many did Kobe win without Shaq? And I think we can make an argument that Kobe won 2 with a less impressive roster than LeBron won 4 with.
With the 3 straight.
Yeah, pretend that he didn't even win the 3 with Shaq. And let's just assume that Kobe's career started post-Shaq. I think you can make a legit argument that Kobe's 2 finals victories, by the way, Kobe beat a team that eliminated LeBron like a week earlier in the Orlando Magic.
Right.
Kobe split with the Celtics. But, to be fair, Kobe played the Celtics when they were a little younger than when LeBron got to them. There's a lot of ways to break this stuff down. And it's good that you could break it down like that because you can make arguments that the Spurs, Brett said it off air, they were kind of old when they cracked LeBron. More so in Miami.
Yeah,
Miami
but my thing, okay, like I said, I give LeBron credit. He broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record.
No, for sure.
20 years. Came directly out of high school. Okay. And that's, with a fainted defense NBA today.
Yeah.
Okay. It blows my mind. And we can pull the whole what if card with Jordan. Hey, what if Jordan played 20 years? He'd blow this out of the water. Yada, yada, yada. I mean, we can.
And I would say that you're right.
We can go forever with that.
If you did say that, I would say you're right.
Yeah, but
3 years of college.
The fact is I can say it because he didn't do it. Right. Jordan retired twice.
And in between the first retirement or 2 3-peats, you have 1 defeat in there. You have, to put it in perspective, Michael Jordan played from 84 to 93, and then he played from 95 to 98, and then he came back years later, far removed, with the Wizards in the early 2000s. So to put it in perspective, Michael Jordan only missed the playoffs twice when he was 39 and 40 years old. And Michael Jordan's last playoff loss, 1995 against the Orlando Magic.
Against the Magic, yeah.
Penny and Shaq. Yeah, that was a short season for him. But like anything else, I don't like to make excuses. Yeah. Because best believe if somehow the Bulls won that series, we would have gave him all the credit. So I like to be fair. If that man threw down 55 in MSG against my boys, he was back.
Right. Yeah, but how many times did he throw down 55 at MSG?
The man, that was
how many times?
A lot of players
plus at MSG. The thing is that every player now, anytime they put up 40 plus at MSG, like MSG is now the place to play in. Like every player wants to play there.
Yeah, it's always been
where they want to make their career in is MSG.
Man. It's basketball.
It's just the thing with both these players, and while I always choose Jordan over LeBron, and it's so easy for me, is that LeBron doesn't have the defensive accolades that Jordan does, or Kobe for that matter. It's 9 to 6. 6 is still impressive. Don't get me wrong. I will give LeBron the edge on passing. He is a facilitator, which is why this argument annoys me too. I always tell people this crap. If you want to compare LeBron to a certain player or 2 or 3, there are other guys that you could compare him to. Magic Johnson, Elgin Baylor.
Yep.
Elgin Baylor for sure. Personally, I think Elgin Baylor is a lot more similar to LeBron than people realize. Since for everybody that thinks they didn't have any athletes back then.
Yeah.
So MJ's my one. I think we all agree on that one, right?
Yeah, because like I said, my thing with the whole thing, he got the points. Yes, he's a better facilitator, but you can't say, "Oh, he went to 10 finals." How many did you win?
Mm-hmm. And while he was a great facilitator, he certainly ain't facilitating any magic.
You can't take that away.
Oh, he's a facilitator in the last 5 seconds of the game.
Yeah,
he won't take the shot.
Do you play for stats? Do you play for getting there, or do you play to win?
And to Brett's point, when the playoff push is on and you're taking 72 hours of rest, that's not the best message to me that you're the dog that Kobe was. Kobe played in such immense pain. I saw a great show about Kobe's former teammate, Shaquille O'Neal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes we take players for granted, especially big guys, because people forget big guys have a lot of pain that, average size people don't necessarily take into account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
same thing with Yao. Dude, Yao had Yao had a lot of health problems.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. But the reason why I shine the light on Shaq is because Shaq was doing this with all kinds of injuries at the highest level. I mean, I think you can make the argument in my life, which would span 4 decades, that the only player that dominated in the finals on the level of a Michael Jordan is actually Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille's unstoppable.
It was a shorter sample size because Shaquille's peak was like very high, but it was very quick. He still had a nice little career, but I would say half of his career was great. The other half was you kind of want to forget, or at least the final third of it. I don't want to remember him in a Phoenix uniform.
I remember Kobe saying, had Shaquille had the right work ethic, he'd have been unstoppable.
And I don't doubt that. I do believe that. But I did say this to Brett off air too, as we're kind of like going around it. I would say that is up. Like, who's the best 1-2? Because with every great player who's considered the GOAT, they have a sidekick. When it comes to Magic and Kareem, I don't consider one being a sidekick. They're 1A and 1B, or however you want to view it. Pippen was the sidekick to Mike.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron had a couple of sidekicks. You could say Dwayne Wade. You could say Kyrie Irving.
I would call Kyrie 1A. Kyrie saved LeBron's ass in that.
I mean, shit. You can call John Stockton and Karl Malone.
No, that would call one. Yeah,
I mean, you think of the old school NBA Jam games. You know what I mean? What were the 1 and 2s?
I'm glad you brought up Karl Malone. Karl Malone's the number 2 all-time leading points getter. Mm-hmm. I have never heard that man be called the GOAT once.
Nope.
Never.
That's why it's so comical.
He passed MJ a long time ago.
Little known fact, or maybe people forget.
I
mean, listen, Karl Malone had a great career, but he's not the best power forward that ever played the game. He's one of the best. Tim Duncan became that guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Tim Duncan took it to a higher level. Now, Chuck's kind of like a tweener, because you could say Chuck was a small forward, power forward because of his height. He played a power forward game because he was a strong man, and he took on guys bigger than him. But he had the fit. He had like, if we're going to liken Chuck to today's game, he would be a shorter version in terms of skill potential as a Durant, because Durant is a 6'10" dude, but he's lanky.
Mm-hmm.
He's more like a small forward, kind of like even with Steph.
He's 6'10", but he's still a shooting guard.
I don't care what they list Steph's position as. He will always be a scorer first. Therefore, he will never be a natural point guard, the same way that I viewed Allen Iverson.
But see, that was Pete Maravich.
But
he wasn't a point guard. He was a shooting guard, but he played point.
But Brett, I don't care what it says next to his name.
But see, okay, to put the
traditional point guard, you got to be the facilitator first.
To put the LeBron thing in perspective, look how long it took to break Kareem's record.
Yeah, bro.
20 years.
Jordan, people are still trying to match him. LeBron's scoring record could be broken within the next few years because Curry is creeping.
Oh,
he's not, that's not too far. A lot of them are not too far away from
especially in this.
It could be Durant too. It could be Durant. It could be James Harden.
No, it ain't gonna be James Harden.
Yeah,
Harden's not that far away.
But they're not that far away.
I don't think Harden will make it because I
His
just don't see
peak
him
is
playing
over.
too long. Yeah, I don't see him playing too long.
Jordan said it best on a show we did probably a year and a half ago when I was a member of that show. He said Harden's offense will never be the same because he doesn't get to the line anymore.
Right. When they
Nailed
took that
it.
little crowd stuff away, yeah, that was it. Steph
And Jordan got to the line a lot.
KD can get it.
So
somebody else is close to it. Well, not close, but they can get it in 4 or 5 years. I think Steph will get it, and I think KD will get it.
I think Steph can get it. KD might. KD might too.
So we are all confident that Jordan is our 1, 2.
But let me ask you a question. Hold on. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Steph breaks the record.
Uh-huh.
Does he surpass LeBron being he got the chips?
I mean, why not?
I mean, if he surpassed LeBron. He's got to be close.
I'd feel more comfortable calling him. I'd feel more comfortable with him because of the fact that he's always stayed in the place that he started.
Leader.
He won before Durant. He won after Durant.
Yep. He's a
and I'm sorry, LeBron skipped out on the Cavs.
He's missed a shit ton of games due to injuries.
LeBron skipped out on the Cavs before he left, and the last true just phenomenal superstar that did that was actually Shaq in Orlando. Mm-hmm. But when you look at why Shaq left Orlando versus why LeBron left Cleveland, I actually empathize more with Shaq.
Yeah.
Because I feel that Orlando just did not handle it in terms of doing good business. I think they insulted the man.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't think that the new fans of Orlando that, quite frankly, were not real fans, I don't think they really knew. Maybe they just, it was wild. But yet, they trashed his house when he left town. So I guess maybe this did bother you. I don't care if he leaves. I beg to differ. You guys were littering his yard in Windermere.
I gotta say something. All three of us grew up watching Jordan, Bird, Magic,
all of them.
These guys.
Yeah,
I'm not a LeBron hater by any means. I appreciate what he's done for the game, the way that he's, made the game evolve, and what he's done off the court as well. You know what I mean? Like, he's actually a very good ambassador for a lot of things. He contributes a lot to charity. He's done a lot for the game on and off the court. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate about the man.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing is going to change my mind that Jordan is the GOAT.
Well, let's expand it. So we've all basically agreed over the course of the last half hour that MJ wins this debate for a litany of reasons.
Lance.
Now who's 2 through 5 amongst us here? Let's talk about this. Off air, Idris and you and I think we all agreed on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar being the comfortable pick at number 2.
Right.
I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Yep. I do want to say this before we move along to 3, 4, 5, and whoever else we might debate on. There's a couple of reasons why I believe Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has been pushed that way, so to speak, in terms of legacy. Well, number one, Magic Johnson was a more marketable player when he came into the league. You're talking about one dude that is like old guard center. This is when centers ran the league. And you're talking about a rookie who's always smiling, always happy. In that regard, Kobe took after Magic in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
But also something that I will not ignore, his conversion to the Muslim faith during a time where being that outspoken and being an athlete wasn't embraced by the masses, especially if you were a black man.
Right.
And I must say that I feel that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was one of the first athletes that truly put on full display alongside Muhammad Ali that there was always something bigger than the game. In Ali's case, it was similar to Jabbar's case as to the ills of the world, the ills of the country. But I do believe that to a level, because of marketability and because of what I just mentioned, I do think that the NBA has had a way of conveniently distancing themselves from the memory of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as a player. And that kind of sucks because if you ever wanted to make a case for a guy that could edge Jordan, I think he's the most qualified. He is a 6-time league MVP. Jordan is a 5-time league MVP. You would say check for Kareem.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan has 4 more NBA Finals MVPs than Kareem. Personally, I think Kareem should have 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think because he wasn't in the building when they did defeat Philly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they didn't want to present that award without somebody that was actually there.
Mm-hmm.
I wish the NFL Honors would have done that with Saquon. That's another conversation.
Right.
Gino wasn't there. Anyway, it was admitted years later that was the reason, because Magic Johnson was probably the most surprised man. Now, granted, he had a great Game 7.
Yeah.
But going into that game, the consensus was Kareem's going to win the MVP of this series. So, okay, edge Jordan. Kareem is the most prolific college player in the history of everyone. That is not up for debate.
Nope.
So you got to give him the check there. Now, Jordan was a national champion as well over Patrick Ewing's Georgetown. That led a trend in the dominance over Ewing going into the professional game.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, give the check to Kareem collegiately. But head-to-head, Kareem got the edge, but Kareem played on better teams, so I don't want to hold that too much. Jordan and Kareem, you can make a case here. Who was more important on defense? That is a great question, and one that doesn't really have a right answer.
True. I think
no, you really can't answer that. We're going top 5 here, right? Top 5. Mm-hmm. So we got Jordan, Kareem. I'm going, honestly, Magic.
But you do get the points, though, as to why, like I'm saying, why Kareem is the most qualified, even now.
No, I do.
A week or so removed from when we went to the Knicks Magic game, that's when LeBron broke this record. But I still feel that Kareem is still the most qualified to challenge Jordan for the GOAT.
You know, I'm going with Kareem too, because people forget Kareem in Milwaukee.
Indeed, when he was still Lou Alcindor.
Mm-hmm. We got to the Lakers. He was dominant. I mean, he was literally dominant. He was the big man.
And I want to remind people, this is when centers were the cream of the crop of the NBA.
The game
with no 3-pointers.
You had to stop the center.
Yeah, 1 3-pointer his entire career.
That's another good point, Brett. That's another good point.
Right. And here's a man who basically had the most unstoppable shot ever.
Yeah, the skyhook. That nobody was touching that skyhook.
He would hit it from 18 feet out. It was like a jumper.
Like nothing. Like nothing.
Yeah, it's like nothing. He could run the floor. Probably one of the best free throw shooting big men also. The guy was good.
And it could open up a whole nother conversation when you talk about great centers. You're like, damn, man, I really wish Shaq would have played with Kareem, like against each other, you know, because some people would say that Kareem would finesse him to death, but some people would say that Shaq would power him down low. Personally, I think what you would see is something similar to what we saw when Olajuwon played a younger Shaq.
I was going to say Olajuwon.
Yeah.
I think you would see both men scoring a lot, but they're just two completely different styles. But, you know, some people might argue that Shaq's the greatest center of all time. I think you have to be better at the line in order to have that title.
Yeah.
But past Jabbar, you can make a case for Shaq. All in the same as you can make a case for Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Or Hakeem. I do believe that Hakeem caught Shaq at the right time. I don't think, you know, you fast forward a couple of seasons later, there's no way that Shaq doesn't body him when he was a member of the Lakers.
Yeah.
But, you know, it like once again, timing plays such a key role in when these guys play each other too. But I agree with Brett on that. Magic Johnson is my number 3.
Same here.
Greatest point guard to ever live. Only played 12 and a half seasons if you want to count 96.
He played 4 out of the 5 positions as well.
He changed the point guard position.
He played 5 out of the 5 positions because he played center. He played center in Game 7 of the finals against Philly.
Yeah,
he changed the whole
center.
He changed what the point guard was. He got a guy 6'9".
Brett, you could lock him into any position on the court. That's the point.
No, you could, but
and they did.
That sucked a lot of LeBron fans forget. They say, "Oh, LeBron played every position." Magic did too, and he did it in the championship.
Yes, he did.
Game.
He did it a different era.
He did it in the championship game.
Championship game.
Won. He changed the way the point guard position was played. And he said he learned everything from Pete Maravich. So for those who never saw Pete Maravich play, you need to watch him.
My boy, Pistol Pete,
a freaking wizard with the ball.
I've never seen anyone like they say. Oh, I always laugh. Oh, LeBron's a better passer than Mike. Yeah, he is. But Magic's a better passer than both of them.
Both of them.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody.
No, I actually agree with you, Rich. He was
Magic. It's like what do you value more? Because you even said off air, what about Bill Russell? My opinion would be, he don't have enough offense to be considered the GOAT, but he's undeniably the greatest winner.
Yeah.
You have to have, like I say, the stats are great. But what else is you got to help your team win. Period. You can put up all the points you want. Like look at Will. Will put up some points and stuff like that. But look at his championship record. The same with Jerry West. Great player. Look at the championship record. And this is not to take anything away from Jerry West because he's an all-time great. He's the freaking logo.
Right.
But look at the championship record. Elton Baylor, great player. Look at the championship record.
Which reminds me, I'm still putting Will at number 4.
Wilt at 4. Yeah. This is not exciting.
Yeah, I had somebody else there, but I'll put Wilt there.
Wilt is undeniably number 4. Might be a little higher on the list if he was able to get the best of Bill Russell or get the best of our New York Knicks. Yeah. They weren't my New York Knicks yet because I wasn't on the planet yet. At 5, rounding it out, at least for me, this is where it gets fun.
Yeah, this is where it gets interesting.
Kobe Bryant, LeBron James.
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe.
I'm going Kobe.
Yeah, I would probably take Kobe. The argument that you make if you're a LeBron fan is that you could say that I'm going to be fair. I give LeBron the edge on some things. He was a better player when he came into the league than Kobe was. I will give him that. He was right in, jumping right in.
Kobe was out of control when he came in.
Yes, indeed. And Kobe
that's why he went to MJ.
And Kobe was lacking he was sitting on the pines behind the likes of a Cedric Ceballos, behind a Nick Van Exel. Yeah. These are guys that were getting playing time.
Van Exel was a beast.
These were guys. Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones.
These are talented players he sat behind.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go. Kobe over LeBron.
Yeah, and it's not a LeBron hate.
No, it's really not. And
it's how you led your okay. He had Shaq the first time, but they both were young, and it's not like they made a dream team. They sent Shaq. Shaq went to the Lakers for obvious reason. What was going on in Orlando? He had to go.
And the greatest trade in NBA history occurred right after that.
Right.
Or right before that, I should say. Vlade Divac and Kobe Bryant.
He came back. He had a young Andrew Bynum, a young Paul Gasol, what's his name from New York?
Lamar
Odom.
Yeah, they had Lamar Odom on that team. They added Ron Artest on that team.
Right.
Yeah, they had
they won 2 out of 3 against a good Boston team.
Yeah. Better teams than LeBron beat. And like I said, you can make an argument to a level with Kobe and LeBron that I would listen a little easier than if I'm going to listen to the one with Jordan and LeBron. I'm sorry. That's where it gets real for me, where I turn off the ears. There's 2 players, and everybody has their opinion. Everybody's entitled to them. There's only 2 players in the history of my lifetime that I've seen play that I think could challenge Jordan for the GOAT. Obviously, I explained why I would say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and the other one would be Magic Johnson. I actually think that Kareem and Magic actually cancel each other out sometimes because of how great they were, because you can make a case, oh, Magic had the best center. Oh, Kareem had the best point guard. So what I choose to do is just say that they are probably either the first or second greatest duo. The only other duo that I could put alongside those two would have to be Kobe and Shaq.
You know why I separate the two? Kareem was dominant regardless. Magic made that team run.
The thing is, I would
Because
put
Kareem struggled to win in LA before
the thing
Magic's
is,
rival.
I
Yeah,
would
Magic
put
made that
Jordan.
team run.
I would
That's-
put Jordan and Pippen above that Kobe and Shaq.
You're out of your mind.
Nah,
I'm not.
nah.
Why would it be out of my mind?
You're out of your mind.
6
Pippen
championships.
Pippen didn't score as many points. as people
That's out of
think
my
he
mind.
Brett, I'm talking about
Jordan,
who's a
Pippen
better.
duo?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Come
scored. I'm
on,
gonna
dude.
Kobe Shaq.
Come on. That's a debate. It's not an actual landslide on that one.
Yeah, but if you're only basing it once again on championships, that kind of feeds into the other point about who did you beat, who did you play, and when did you play them.
Right.
No, they're
It took-
a
it took
1-2
four-
duo.
It
They were
took
great-
4 years for that team.
They were a great
Chicago
1-2.
to get there. But when Kobe and Shaq
But
got
no.
together,
No.
once they got together, it was a wrap.
Nah.
They ran. Jordan and Pippen took 4 years to actually get going to do that.
And the other reason that points to how strong both of those players were is that they won without each other.
right,
No,
Pippen and Jordan never won without each other.
right,
And that speaks
True.
volumes
yeah,
to that too.
True.
Now, Magic didn't win without Kareem, but Magic did go to finals without Kareem.
yeah.
So if there's a weak link that we're going to kick off the tree here, it would probably be Scottie Pippen.
So listen, we still got 8.5 minutes here, and we got 5 players left on the top 10 GOAT list. We already got our top 5.
All right, I'll expedite it. LeBron James at 6. He can't go any lower than that. I mean,
Okay.
could he? Do we want to put Larry Bird above him too?
Yep.
I think Idris does.
Yeah.
This is not an easy one for me either. We may get laughed at here. But once again, different eras. This is a tough one as well because a big thing about today's evolution of the players is that I feel that a trash talker like a Larry Bird playing in today's era would make a guy like a Kevin Durant very uncomfortable, get him out of his game. I think a guy like a Garnett had the mental wherewithal to deal with a guy like a Bird. He was a shit talker in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100%. He was a big
But I
time
don't
smoker.
believe I'm sorry. I just don't see it. I don't see
I guess I'll put LeBron over Bird.
So who's your
It's close.
number 6? You got
I would drop Bird down below LeBron
Yeah.
because longevity does have to matter at some point.
Yeah,
And we can't punish longevity.
right.
Bird would be my 6. LeBron would Bird would be my 7. LeBron would be my 6.
Yeah, I go with that.
8 through 10. This is where you got Tim Duncan.
Yep.
Tim Duncan, number 8.
Shoot it out.
Tim Duncan, number 8. Oscar Robertson, number 9. Steph Curry, number 10. That's my top 10. Hakeem Olajuwon just misses the cut.
Jerry
and
West
Shaquille
ain't
O'Neal
in that.
just misses the cut.
Neither is Bill Russell. Okay.
I'm
All right.
going to go Oscar and
Two-way player, buddy. He was not an
Yeah.
offensive guy.
Oscar at 9 and 10.
I would put Russell anywhere between 11 and 15. Anywhere in between there.
I
You
guess
have
I'll
to be a
put-
two-way player. He didn't score. He didn't score a lot of points.
I guess I'll put Steph at 10.
Steph got to crack my
Yeah,
top 10.
you gotta look at it. I mean, 4 titles, 4 out of 6, and the guy he's led, man. I mean, he's that's the glue of the team.
No doubt about that. I give you that.
He's the Golden State. He is the Golden State like Rick Barry was the Golden State back then.
Because I do want to say something when we talk about Bill Russell. May he rest in peace. I want to talk about an ambassador of the game. That was the ambassador.
Mhm.
Everybody talks about Bill Russell as they should, but not enough people talk about the guys he played with. When
Right.
we talk about greatest point guards, does anybody ever mention Bob Cousy?
John Havlicek.
No.
And I feel that Bob Cousy,
John Stockton.
if these are like make or break conversations,
Mhm.
I already told you how I feel about Steph about not being the most natural of point guard. This is funny. I always view Steph as a tweener between point and shooting guard. So when I think about natural point guards, I'm thinking about Magic. I'm thinking about Isaiah Thomas, another guy who the NBA loves to forget about.
Yeah.
And like him or hate him or whatever. I'm not the biggest Isaiah Thomas fan, but I do hate that they try to push him out of history. That's not right either.
I mean, you didn't put him on your top 10, so I think we're good.
He'll go on my top 20.
He's not gonna make my top 10, but he definitely makes the top 20.
Yeah, I give him top 20.
Yeah. What was my 5? I had Kobe at 4, right? Is that right? I had Kobe.
I think he had 5. Yeah.
We agreed on the top 5, like literally player for player.
We agreed on top 5.
Bird or LeBron? Who's next?
Bird.
Oh boy.
Then I'll go LeBron.
So you got LeBron as number 7 all time?
I got LeBron 7.
We're getting a comment.
And yeah, but it's hard to argue, with the 20-year career and what he's done. I mean, I don't care what Zappy says. You got to put him on your top 10.
Manny Pacman, 8 division world titles. That man is GOAT to my mind anyway. Cheers, guys. I'm confused, but thank you for commenting.
Yeah, Pac-Man. I didn't realize we were talking about boxing.
I didn't know that either, but
it's okay. Well, I mean, we'll put Iron Mike Tyson on the top if you want. No, I got to go Larry. I'm going LeBron. 8. Holy shit!
You got choices, man. You go Dream. You go Oscar Robertson. A lot of players. Oscar made my top 10.
I had Kareem. I had Kareem at number 2. Wow. There's so many.
Brett, you got to make a decision before.
I know. Jerry West.
Okay.
Just because he's NBA logo, he's the guy. He's the guy on everybody's backboard.
Well, that's a reach.
That's not a reach
at all. Elson Bell over Jerry West.
It's not a reach.
Damn right.
What number am I? 9?
No, you're on 10, I think.
Am I on 10?
Even if you're not, I'm going to say you are.
Whatever. Yeah. I'll go Steph, man. I love Steph. I love me some Steph.
Well, this is the thing, too. Like I said earlier in the show, Bron is a tweener between Steph and Duncan in terms of kind of running into both of them.
Yeah.
At this point, you can make the logical argument that if Steph keeps going the way he is, he's going to jump LeBron, and LeBron's not even going to be retired for too long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he will, man. I think he will. He's got him in titles. The 4-4.
They'll find, the LeBron fans will find ways to discredit Curry. You already see it. You already see it with he's got Clay and he had Durant. But the point, people came there.
If you take Durant out, he still got 2 titles.
Similar to your point.
Clay, Draymond, and Steph were drafted. They were drafted. They didn't come together. They were drafted.
And it's similar to your point about how Magic made the Lakers run and how Kareem did not win in LA until Magic was drafted.
Right.
It's similar to Golden State. Steph got there first.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to Dwayne Wade in Miami. Dwayne Wade took a back seat to give LeBron more of a leadership role.
Right.
But it was still Dwayne Wade's team just as much as it was still Steph Curry's team.
Yep.
We
need to do a point guard show. Point guard.
Yeah.
Small forward, guard.
We'll just continue talking some of this shit here. But no, this has been fun.
We can go top 5 versus top 5 all day long.
No, this was good.
Top 10, not top 5.
Like I said, I tried to the best of my ability to keep it fair. I'm not sure if it's going to translate to that. When I actually watch this back, they might be like, yo, this dude hates LeBron. But quite frankly, I really don't care because I base it on the eye test, and I'm happy and proud to say that I see all the guys I'm comparing actually play. And a big thing that people lose sight of, how are you going to grade a guy you didn't see play?
Right.
A lot of LeBron fans
never saw Michael play.
You still have to win.
And that goes to the same Jordan fans that are always on him, but they didn't see him play like I saw him play. There's one in particular, but I'm going to leave that alone because he's family. Until next time, I am Richie. He is Bretsky. He is Mr. Idris Salam. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we will be back in the near future with that NFL franchises show. We out.